So welcome, dear devotees, to today's class. We have finished 11 chapters of Bhagavad Gita so far, and also glories of holy name, and besides the Shavatar, but 10 avatars. Now today we are in the last chapter of Bhakti Yoga, that is second section of Bhagavad Gita, and this is Bhakti Yoga or devotional service, chapter number 12. So in this picture you can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu singing the glory of holy name. So, and they were always followed by. So before we start today's session, let us pray to Shri Radha Gomiji and also pray for the blessings of Sri Namnish Das Ji, President at ISKCON Temple, Kulai, Bengaluru. Om Agyan Timiranthasya Gyananjan Shalakya Chakshurulmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedant Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharni Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Desha Tarane. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapt Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrashbhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare. So welcome again, devotees, to today's class. So we know the universal form at the request of Arjuna, prayers of Arjuna. Lord Krishna was kind enough or merciful to, as usually he is to his devotees. He showed him universal form. And the question from the side of Arjuna was how I want to see how you pervade the entire universe. The theory is being the theory that was given right from chapter number 2 to chapter number 10. That is now being followed by practical class, that is chapter 11, that is display of universal form of Lord. So this is this progress we have made so far. And now Lord, in all through chapter, right from 2, 7, 9, 10, 11, he has emphasized on supremacy of pure bhakti or devotional service. And as compared to karma, Nishkam Karma Yoga, then Gyan Yoga, and then also the Ashtanga Yoga, Lord has emphasized that the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service, and it is the easiest and the most direct approach to attain Krishna. That is the essence of classes we have attended so far. Now you can see this universal form Lord is showing. To Krishna chapter 11, Lord shows his universal form. Then Arjuna, but Arjuna is attached to personal two-handed form of Krishna because he was sitting with Lord Krishna in his chariot, and right from his childhood, he is Vishakha Sakhi. Vishakha Sakhi, that means the eternal associate of Lord Krishna. And when Krishna descended or appeared in Vrindavan or Mathura, that time also, in fact, Vishakha Sakhi was there, and eternally in the eternal abode of Lord Krishna, he is there with Krishna as Vishakha Sakhi. So he is a pure devotee and very pious soul. That now Lord, after showing this universal form, Lord shows Lord explains what devotional service or bhakti yoga is in details. So far we have a lot of knowledge about karma yoga and the jnana yoga and the ashtanga yoga. That was given also by Lord in a great details manner. So in chapter 12, devotional service, Arjuna, being attached to two-folded forms, wants to clarify his position. Why clarify his position? Because he thinks that unmanifest form or the impersonalist worship, that is the Brahman effulgence, what about that? Because he considers the two-handed form as supreme, but there is a doubt in his mind, and like a pure devotee, he is always curious to find out the correct answer from Lord Krishna, who is very merciful and has answered each and every question of or declared the doubt of Arjuna. So now After hearing and seeing Lord's inestimable, impersonal opulences, Arjuna again wants to hear about devotional service. So, and devotional service, he wants to clarify his position as devotee who works for Krishna as opposed to the Jnani who renounces work. Now, there is a difference between the Jnani or in Jnana Yoga, we have already seen in earlier chapters that there is complete renunciation of, and Arjuna asked, what is better, renunciation of work or doing work in Krishna consciousness? That also has been clarified. So, but he is attached to two-headed form or to the personal form of Lord Krishna. He wants to know which is better, impersonalist or the personalist. So, he wants to clarify that is the. In the previous chapter, in the verse number 11.55, we know that it ended with supremacy of Bhakti Yoga, that Krishna said Bhakti Yoga is the highest. And in 11.55, Krishna mentioned that pure devotional service without any fruitive activity or without any fruitive desire for fruits or benefits, and also without any mental speculative activities. When a person works for me, considers himself as me as a supreme goal of his life, and is friendly to every living being, that is the best. And such a person definitely attains me or comes to me. This was declared by Lord Krishna in 11.55. Now in uh, this chapter, that is Bhakti Yoga or devotional service, Arjuna wants to know what are about the two classes of people. Those are, firstly, we know the personalists like Arjuna, who himself is, and the impersonalists who do not believe that Krishna, the Lord, the Supreme Lord, has a form, and they want to worship or meditate upon impersonal form of Lord Krishna only, that is Brahman effulgence. We know this effulgence is nothing but coming from the transcendental body of, coming out from the transcendental body of Lord Krishna itself. So this is a partial realization of God, where Bhakti Yoga, where one worships Sakar Roop, or that is the personal form of Lord Krishna, that is the perfect and complete realization of God feature. So this is the background for starting today's chapter, and this chapter is divided into three sections. Bhakti over impersonalists, that is whether personalists are better, personalists are better, or impersonalists are better. So the question Arjuna will ask in 12.1. This is the first question. So it is explained up to 7, and 12.8 to 12 says progressive stage of devotion, how one can progress. We are mundane people. We know that we are not transcendently situated, or we are not situated even in mode of goodness. We are in a mode of passion or ignorance all the time. And we are how to take up bhakti right beginning from the karma yoga, that is sakam karma to nishkam karma to yoga, and jnana yoga and jnana yoga to ashtanga yoga to bhakti yoga, or right from whatever stage we are taking up the devotional service, or is adopting to bhakti yoga. So Lord is kind enough to clarify that here, that is, it is the bhakti. Anybody can take up bhakti, and there are different stages of devotion of bhakti, and which is the highest. So he has enumerated in up to these 5 verses about the highest to lowest form of bhakti. And lastly, he says, who is dear to? That is, who of the devotees out of these classes which are mentioned here, who is more dear to him? So Lord describes all the qualities, and this part we shall take tomorrow. This is, or every word of this chapter, every word of Prabhupada's, Srila Prabhupada's purport is just gem or diamond. It's nothing but such a lovely explanation that it is binding. So yes, with this background, but Richa Mataji, you can continue reading this.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Arjunuvaj eva satat yuktaye bhaktistavaam priye paryupasate ye chapekshar tesham ke yog vittama. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be most perfect, those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman? the unmanifested.
Thank you, Mataji. So the first question is, which form is better to worship? The in personal form, which Krishna is in personal form and Arjuna is pure devotee here. So this form is better, or the impersonalist. What this is a symbol here of Brahman effulgence, and the impersonalist or Mayavadis, they want to merge into this Brahman effulgence. For them, that is the ultimate goal. Wherefore, a person who is in Bhakti Yoga, the ultimate goal is attaining Krishna or reaching to his abode. So the so but the worship of Krishna or worship of personal form of Krishna, we know it involves a form. It involves certain activities, and those activities give us bliss or anandam. So Lord is Sachit Anand basically. Now Sachit Anand means his knowledge eternal and blissful. So impersonalist is able to understand only the Sat and Chit. That is, he is able to understand that Lord is knowledge. He is able to attain the knowledge only, and also he knows that Lord is eternal. This Brahman effulgence is eternal. But Anand, that stage is missing with the impersonalist, because they have no relationship with, they can't have relationship with something which does not exist physically, which does not have a physical form. We are, material persons, and we always believe in seeing something, then only, in fact, we develop some kind of relationship, whether it is primary relationship or primary rasa or secondary rasa. Unless there is something, then only relationship is established. But a devotee or a personalist, he develops not only Sat Chit, that is, he develops not only knowledge and also knows that Lord is eternal, I am also eternal, but also develops Anandam, because by performing devotional activities or devotional service to God, he is doing some activities, whereas impersonalist is not doing any activity. He is simply meditating on the Brahman effulgence. So this question is very, in fact, important for all of us to understand what is the difference between personalist and the impersonalist in their mode of worship. So this first question is put by Lord. So you can see the first picture was just Brahman effulgence, and this is Shyam Sundar form. And you will remember in 11.55, Lord said two armed forms. Arjuna prayed for from Vishwarupa or Virat Rupa to four-armed form to Narayan form, and from Narayan form again he requested or prayed to Lord to come back to his two-armed form, because that is what he was used to see, and that is what he adored or loved also. And you can see such beautiful form of Krishna. Now, everybody wonders how Prabhupada has been very critical of impersonalists. He says that there is so much of evidence that Krishna has a form. Yet why to talk about impersonal? He is there standing himself in the battlefield and giving lessons, teachings to Arjuna. So, and here there are innumerable pastimes. He had killed so many demons. He has, he has done so many such activities, loving activities, doing pastime with Radharani, with gopis. All the demigods were also dazzled by his performances and activities and pastimes. So why people still do not believe that Krishna has a form? So this is the first question, that which one is form, which one it. Now, Arjun is very wise and intelligent. He is asking for the benefit of us, not he is already convinced by coming up to the chapter 10, end of chapter. He surrendered and he understood that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he was totally convinced that he is pervading everywhere. But with his own eyes, he was a loving devotee. So he wanted to see how Krishna pervades the entire universe. This is what he prayed for. Yes, Mataji, please continue. This is on devotion.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Arjuna's question: which is more perfect, engaging in devotional service or worshippers of the impersonal Brahman? Which is better, personalism or impersonalism? Two classes of transcendentalists. Personalist engage himself with all energy in service of Supreme Lord. impersonalist engages in meditation on impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. Conclusion of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita attached to personal form of Lord. 2. Living entity is a spiritual spark. Absolute truth is spiritual whole. 6.47 says Bhakti Yoga is the best of all yogis. 7. Living entity is part and parcel of the whole. Recommends one to transfer his full attention to Krishna. 8. Anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of death at once goes to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. Only way to have association of the Spiyojit is through devotional service.
Thank you, Mataji. So we have seen that chapter 2, 6, 7, 8, then 9, 10 also, Bhakti, supremacy of Bhakti Yoga is mentioned there. And if one does not have any association, one does not have any kind of relationship, then probably the path is very, very tough. The path of impersonalist is very tough because it is full of sufferings. They renunciate everything. They just meditate and give lot of suffering to the body. Whereas in Bhakti Yoga, it is all bliss, Anandam. If devotee is doing service activities or devotional service activities towards Krishna in most loving manner, there are a lot of activities, so many activities, thinking, dancing, cooking, and preparing garlands, then cleaning the temple, decorating the deities, or, or distributing prasadam, books, all these Krishna consciousness related activities, they are blissful, personal, right? But what about the impersonalist? So the essence over of all these chapters up to 11 is that Bhakti Yoga is supreme, easy to perform, is blissfully performed, joyfully performed. And in this chapter, Krishna has Yamyam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. In chapter number this 7, this 8, Krishna has clearly made whatever feelings you have at the time of leaving your body, you certainly attain it. So this is an indication that Krishna is there in his abode and he wants us back to his uh, uh, back to his home, in fact. That is Goloka Vrindavana. Yes, Mataji.
Shri Bhagwan Uvat Maya Veshe Mano Ye Ma Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Pariyopidasate Me Yuktama Mata. The blessed Lord said, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engage in me, in worshipping me, with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be most perfect.
So the first question is perfectly answered here. Which one is better, personalist bhakti or impersonalist? Or the Gyan Yoga or this Bhakti Yoga? So Krishna says that consider to me the most perfect, worshipping me with great and transcendental faith. That means the personal form of Krishna, the Sham Sundar form of Krishna. So, but Krishna is in this this purport of Srila Prabhupada mentions that even the transcendental knowledge of absolute truth can also be gained by Bhakti Yoga. I mean, what those impersonalists are gaining by suffering, that can be attained by Bhakti Yoga, though being supreme as compared to Jnana Yoga. But if one is in a Bhakti Yoga, that means he has already attained the knowledge, perfect knowledge or realization of the Brahman effulgence or the absolute truth, which is that, and whereas the Bhakti Yoga is the easiest means of doing, whereas and easiest means of performance rather, and also association of Krishna, but as compared to the impersonalist approach. Means if one is in Bhakti Yoga, he has already realized the absolute truth. So, and Bhakti Yoga is easier, whereas the Jnana Yoga, the yoga which is meditative yoga, which is practiced by impersonalists, which is very tough because it is very difficult to concentrate all mind and senses fully and dedicate all energy and mind and senses towards Krishna's thinking on him, meditating on his form, and also worshipping him. So this is relatively difficult. But if a person is in Bhakti Yoga, he has already attained the knowledge of Brahman effulgence, because that is that is part and parcel of Lord Krishna's body only. So this is who is the best personalist or the impersonalist? The first question is answered here. That of course the personalists are much better as compared to, because the path is easy. Yes, Mataji.
Devotional service, Lord Krishna opinion. Those engaged in devotional service are most perfect. Why most perfect? Fix their minds on my personal form. Always engage in worshipping me. Worship me with great and transcendental faith. Actions in Krishna consciousness. Krishna conscious activities are not material because everything is done for Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji. Just a minute. Yes.
A pure devotee is in full samadhi because of his constant engagement. Example, chant, hears, cooks, shops, washes temple or dishes, etc. Do not waste single moment.
Thank you, Mataji. So we have, this is drawn from, the left side is drawn from 11.55. Fix my mind on personal, your mind on my personal form. Worship me with great devotion, without any mental speculation or desire for fruitive activity, fruitive results, and always engaged in worshipping me. That also, that consider yourself, the goal of, supreme goal of your life, as attaining Krishna. So, and also being friendly to each or living entity. That was the essence of 11.55. So that is why it is perfect. Now, secondly, why actions in Krishna consciousness, whatever the devotee is doing, is blissful, as we have already discussed, that he is not only Satchit, realizing Satchit Anand, Satchit of feature of Lord Krishna, but also he is deriving Anandam or the blissful mode also by doing activities. And these activities are enumerated here. A pure devotee is in full samadhi. That means samadhi means ekagrita, or say full devoted or concerted uh, focus on some particular activity. Now samadhi, why samadhi? Because a devotee, pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, uses all his senses and mind, performs all activities, even for himself, not for himself, but whatever activities perform for Lord Krishna only. So it is not, though activities may seem like cooking or washing the floor of the temple or preparing garland or collecting flowers and decorating deity, they may seem material activities. But when they are done for Krishna, they become transcendental. So that is why the word samadhi has been used here, that all activities, if done for Krishna, they become transcendental. They cannot carry any sinful reaction, right? So then a person is said to be in a state of samadhi. Yes, Mataji. These are 3 and 4 are together.
ये त्वक्षरमणिर्देश्य व्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गम चिन्तयं च कूटस्थलं चलं ध्रुवं संयमेन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र सम्बोधयाः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामे सर्वभूतहिते रतः. By practicing yoga, people try to stop the mind from thinking, but it is impossible. The goal of life is not to become unconscious, but to become super conscious. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all pervading, inconceivable, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engage in the welfare of all, at last achieve me.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the translation for verse 3 and 4. So now at this stage, let us understand. We know about a little about Bhakti Yoga or devotional service. But what impersonalists are doing, let us try to understand it. The characteristics, what are the features of impersonal conception of absolute truth? First, it is unmanifested because it does not have any form. It is not manifest. Second, it is beyond sense perception. We can only speculate and imagine, but we do not know what shape this Brahman effulgence has got. Then it is all pervading. We know that the like sun and eyes, Lord Krishna said that they are like my eyes. Sun and moon are they are my like eyes. Similarly, the effulgence of Lord Krishna's body is all pervading. It is all the universe. In Goloka Vrindavan or abode of Lord Krishna or other higher planets, there is no electricity or there is no other kind of any illumination. It is Lord Krishna's personal effulgence which is illuminating all the planets all over the world, all over universes. And in this, in fact, Goloka Vrindavana is eternal abode. It is always lighted. There is no night here. And it is inconceivable because you cannot, when you can't, your senses cannot see, you can't conceive. Mind sees only what, in fact, the eye see only what mind knows. When mind does not know about it, how can the eye can see it? And it is fixed, changed, unchangeable. It is immovable. So these are the features of him. Now just imagine, in contrast, Krishna is visible. He is in the form of a person before Arjuna. And we also see Krishna in the form of Arch Vigraha. Arch Vigraha is Arch Vigraha of Krishna. There is a difference between idol and deity. Does anybody know what is difference between idol and deity? Murti and
Prabhuji,
Bhagwan? Yes. Yes.
in idol, the pran pratishtha is not being done, and in DT, the pran pratishtha is being done, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that is nice. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else would like to add something more? First, worship of idol is not done. The worship of deity is done, right? And in fact, now let us take an analogy. If we put a letter in a letter box which has been abandoned or which is not in use, will our letter reach to the specific destination? It will not. So temples or the temples where deity is established, deity idol is made of all kind of material, physical materials. But deity is arch vigraha. That means he is a Lord incarnate who is the right kind of letterbox, which is functional. And where you put a letter, when you put a letter in that letterbox, it reaches its destination for certain. So Archbishop, that is a Lord has incarnated into that form, in that Archbishop form. That is why Lord's deity is called as the Archbishop or incarnation of reincarnation of a Lord in that physical form. So whatever we pray, prayers we make before deity or the temple, that is accepted by Lord, presiding Lord over there. Now, so we have seen the characteristic. This was just a side point. We have seen the characteristics of features of impersonal form of Lord Krishna or the effulgence. Now, how to worship the unmanifested form? I said that it is not manifest. It is not visible to eyes. Senses cannot perceive it. It is totally, no, it is transcendental. It is unchangeable, immovable, and fixed also. So, how to worship? The first requirement is to control our senses. Second requirement is to be equally disposed to everyone. So this Krishna has said in 11:55, be friendly to each and everyone. Third is by engaging in the welfare of all persons. So we are not talking about Krishna here. We are talking about engaging our activities in welfare of all. And lastly, it is very difficult for any common man. We do not cannot develop relationship of faith or any rasa or bhava for something which is not visible to eyes, or which is not perceptible to our senses, which is beyond our senses. And also there is no complete God realization in the case of impersonalist. So now Krishna has replied to first question, which is perfect. Worship of a personalist worship is perfect, or the worship done by meditative process done by the impersonalist, which is perfect. So Lord has Krishna's. Now he is going to describe the process of this realization, the process of realization of God by doing devotional service. So this is a graphical summary of verse number 3 and 4. Yes, Mataji, continue.
Devotional service. Those who worship unmanifested will also reach Krishna eventually and surrender. Characteristic of impersonal conception of absolute truth. First, unmanifested, beyond sense perception, all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable. How to worship the unmanifested? By controlling various senses, by being equally disposed to everyone, by engaging in welfare for all, difficult for any common man, much penance involved before the ultimate realization of full surrender takes place.
So these are characteristics of features we just now discussed. So all you can see, these seem to be abstract. They do not have any form. They do not have uh, the visual perception of these features cannot be uh, carried out. But even then, now Krishna is very kind to Arjuna. So he has said that Bhakti Yoga is supreme. That he has established in the chapter after chapter 11 that Bhakti Yoga is the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga is established by him, or up to 11th chapter. But Arjuna has raised a question. So he is going to explain the realization or the impersonalist worship in great detail here. So he has mentioned these three steps. First, controlling senses. Secondly, being equally exposed to everyone. Being equally disposed to everyone means being friendly to everyone without any violence, any kind of violence to anyone, and by engaging in welfare of all. So these activities are also conducive to impersonal Brahmas. Yes, Mataji. Anyone else
Klesho,
would like to read? Yeah, but Mataji, please continue this one, then thereafter someone else will take.
okay,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Kleshodiktarastesam avya avya avyaktasasakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukham deha vadbhir avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Dhanyavad Prabhuji.
So the essence is that those who are worshipping unmanifested, the process is very, very troublesome. And the advancement, a pure devotee can advance, we know the stages of bhakti or the progressive stages of bhakti from Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha to Sadhu Sangha to Bhajan Kriya to Anarth Nivritti. There is a process, gradual process by one is improving in his devotional service. Whereas in this worship meditative process, it is not easy to control the mind and senses just by renouncing everything and doing meditation alone. Even meditation, we know in Kali Yuga meditation is not recommended. So impersonal worship of impersonalist even in Kali Yuga is not recommended directly. For those whose minds are attached to unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome and very slow, very slow. It may take many lives. To make a progress in that is always difficult for those who are embodied. And all of us are living embodied persons. We 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 are used to the concept of bodily features, in fact, and we are used to identify a person by his seeing his physical form. Maybe transcendental. Lord Krishna's physical form is transcendental. So this is a area where lot of difficulty comes if one is used to uh, impersonal. So Gyan, so the two types have already mentioned here. One are Gyan yogis and the other is Bhakti yogis. So we know which one is better and what is the goal of both, whether one is doing impersonal worship or doing personalist worship, that is Gyan yoga, Bhakti yoga, goal is same to attain the Supreme Lord. But the path is the process is very difficult. The types we know are two, then their goal is same. Ultimately, they could also attain Krishna, the impersonalist, like bhakti or devotees. And the process of impersonalist worship is very, very difficult. And deity worship is very easy. Easily, we can have relationship, we can have love for Krishna. So I've already given the analogy of mailbox. If you put your letter in a wrong mailbox, which is not functional, that is idle, or that is not, the destination is not defined wherein, then letter will not reach the right place. Whereas if we do deity worship, then we are putting our letter in the right kind of mailbox and it is likely to reach its destination. But the practice of impersonalist, as I mentioned here, is very troublesome, very difficult. Progress is very slow, and it may take a lot of time, many lifetimes to cover. But we are given only one lifetime, so we do not know what is going to be the next form of life. But we have done, pious activities in mode of goodness in this life. Lord has assured that if one is not able to complete his devotional service in this life, and falls down accidentally, then he has assured that he takes birth in aristocratic family or a family of transcendentalists, from where his journey, spiritual journey, will continue from the point where he ended or stopped uh, in the last life. So the Satchitanand feature can be attained by the pure devotional service only, not by impersonalism. So, anybody else would like to read now onwards? Srila
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Uh,
Yes, Mataji, please continue.
uh, Path of impersonalists is troublesome and very difficult. Two groups of transcendentalists both ultimately bring to same goal. Bhakti yogis, those persons who are in full Krishna consciousness and engage in devotional service of the Lord. Jnana yogis, those who follow the path of inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord.
Thank you, Mataji. So,
Hare Krishna.
Bhakti yogis are worshipping Krishna consciousness, Krishna directly. There is no via media here. But whereas Gyan yogi, they are also, goal is same. Goal is Krishna. But they are taking a longer route. And the route is the impersonalist, the form which they are worshipping is, of course, transcendental. That is because the Brahma effulgence is coming out from the body of transcendental body of Lord Krishna only. But they are worshipping the partial feature of Lord Krishna only. That is impersonal feature. Lord has got both personal and impersonal feature. So impersonal, we can see all his creation, that is, but he says, I pervade everywhere. So this is the difference. The goal is same ultimately. So this is a comparison of impersonalist and the Mayavadis or Brahmavadis and the Bhakti yogis. In terms of practice, there are two, in terms of realization and in terms of practice, two tables are given. Yes, Mataji, let us take point number 1, 2, 3.
Impersonalists, they meditate on formless, which is difficult for the embodied. Uh, meditate Personalists, they meditate on the form of the deity, which is easy for embodied. Impersonalists are unmanifested, is beyond the senses. They restrict the senses. Personalists' senses can perceive the deity and sound of the mantra, He engages the senses. Impersonalists must understand the Brahman through Upanishads, etc. By learning the language Sanskrit, understand the non-perpetual feelings. The personalists understand Krishna through devotional service. Simple chanting Hare Krishna, guidance of bona fide spiritual master, simply by offering regulative obeisances unto the deity, hearing the glories of the Lord, eating the remnants of foodstuff offered to the Lord. Impersonalists, the long practice makes it difficult to take up bhakti. Personalist, completely natural. Uh, Impersonalist is troublesome. Uh, Personalist practice misery is mitigated by relationship with Krishna. The impersonalist depends on their own endeavor. But personalist, Krishna delivers devotee from Maya. Why? Because Krishna himself recommends the process out of paternal love by his causeless mercy. Hare Krishna.
So practice uh, or abhyas. Practice means that what we activities perform during our devotional service. Impersonalists, they meditate on formless. Of course, we know personalists meditate on the form of body or the arch vigra, which is reincarnation of Lord. It is empowered, in fact, form of Lord, which is they are worshipping. So then second is it is beyond senses because senses cannot perceive. Whereas in personalist, they use their all senses in the service of Lord. So third point must understand the Brahman through Upanishad because there is no form here. So understanding of effulgence has to come through knowledge, and the knowledge is to come from Vedas and Upanishads. So which is again a very difficult because understanding and fully realizing the essence of Veda is very difficult. They do not know that essence of study of Veda is to know Krishna only. So, whereas the personalists, they understand Krishna through devotional service because they are worshipping the physical form of archvigra form of Lord Krishna, who is reincarnate in that form. So, how the process for them is not study or attaining jnana or the knowledge through study of Upanishads and Vedas, but they do chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, serving the devotional, serving the bona fide spiritual master, serving the pure devotees, preparing prasada, garland preparation, temple cleaning, deity worship, deity decoration, then also following the regulative principles, keeping fasting, chanting. So these are simple activities where all sense organs, external or internal, are being used in the service of Lord. So it is easy. Then long practice makes it difficult to take up bhakti. But now, a person who is used to impersonal worship of impersonal form of worship of Lord, so it is very difficult for him to take up bhakti or devotion. But here it is natural. We see the archvigra of Lord, then and we develop natural affinity. We pray before deity, we cry before deity, and we want to serve the deity in many forms. And we also enjoy the prasadam. You know, the prasadam is always the most important item in ISKCON. So prasadam, Sunday Mahafeast, that is great honor to receive, in fact. And prasadam, eating prasadam, in nectar devotion, it is mentioned that one who eats prasadam, his all sinful reactions to all sinful activities is this birth and previous birth, they are eliminated or he gets freedom from all them. So and now this impersonal worship is very troublesome because always focusing on a Brahma Jyoti is important, is almost impossible for long periods. Whereas this in Krishna consciousness, all activities are done with pleasure, with joy, as an offering to Lord Krishna. So one forgets about his miseries. We know there are three kleshagnis, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. So a devotee forgets about these kleshagnis because there is no place for him. He is not busy with service activities. And lastly, entire effort of a jnani or is his own. he has to work very hard to meditate on the impersonal form. Whereas Lord Krishna has mentioned Aham Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. But he gives the Buddhi Yoga, that means he gives bhakti to his pure devotees who are endeavoring. Here, this endeavor is singular. He is the only the person, a Brahmavadi, is making lot of effort to concentrate or meditate upon this form. Whereas in case of devotee of Krishna, he makes a small step. Lord picks him up and Lord encourages and motivates him. And not only Lord, the Lord in the form of a spiritual master, he also guides and also motivates him and inspires him to progress in the spiritual path. So this is Lord's mercy that which is applicable in case of Bhakti Yoga, where the endeavor of impersonalist is singular. It is not held by, assisted by Lord Krishna at all. So this is the practice. The practice of worship of impersonal form of Lord Krishna or the personal form. What are the qualities or difficulties in both, or ease in both forms, that is mentioned in that table. This table gives the realization of both kind of worships. I just now mentioned that realization of God in the impersonal form is partial, because one is knowing only up to the effulgence level of Lord's body, transcendental body. Where is realization in the case of bhakti or a personalist worship is much, much higher, because it is direct worship of deity and direct worship of Lord Krishna also. And we have seen so many examples, so many pastimes where Lord had been kind, Kheer Chor, Gopinath, listening to prayers of the Goswami. He kept one pot for his, because Gopal, Rupa Goswami, that instance that Gopal gave him darshana in dream, and then when he passes to this Bemura, that passes through Gopinath temples, he is attracted by that kheer, payasam, which is prepared for Lord Krishna's as prasadam. He wanted this to be offered to his Gopal only, but he didn't know. So this feeling, he mentally he tasted that kheer or payasam, that it was, then he thought it was a very big aparadh that he had done, because before Lord consumes or Lord accepts something, a devotee cannot. That is why we keep the prasada. When you offer prasad, we cover it with a cloth so that nobody has a look over it. So it might have developed a desire to consume it before even it has been offered to Lord. So we see that this kind of activity is possible only, that is a perfect realization of Bhagwan form. So yes, Mataji, Brahman form and the Bhagwan form, the difference. We all know the 6 opulences of Bhagwan and so many other attributes of Bhagwan, feature of Lord. And the second feature is Paramatma, the third feature is, the lowest feature is the Brahman effulgence. So here we are talking about Bhagwan feature. Yes, Mataji, comparison.
Okay. In terms of realization, Brahman versus Bhagavan. Brahman is nirguna, without qualities. Bhagavan is saguna, with form, qualities, etc. Brahman is inconceivable. Bhagavan possesses inconceivable potencies. Brahman is all pervading. Bhagavan is all pervading by energy and a super soul. Brahman is unchanging, fixed, and immovable. Bhagavan is unchanging, fixed, and immovable. Brahman cannot perceive any opulence because of lack of activity. Bhagavan possessor is the possessor of 6 opulence in full. Brahman risk of not realizing absolute truth at the end. In Bhagavan, his success is guaranteed as nothing is lost. Brahman may realize the eternal Sat and knowledge Sit, aspects of his original nature, partial realization. Bhagavan realizes eternity, knowledge, and bliss, includes Brahman and Paramatma realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So we can see Brahman and Bhagwan comparison in the level of realization by worship. The purpose of worship is to realize Lord's features or Lord's pastimes, Lord's name, Lord form, and also realize that we are soul, we are not body. The second realization that we are eternal servitor and also part and parcel of. These are our realization. So what happens when we worship Brahman effulgence, and what happens when, so it is Nirguna Bhakti. Nirguna means that Lord is, the impersonalist thinks that Lord is without any attribute, but we know that Lord has got so many attributes. So he has got 6 opulences. He has got 3 kind of potencies or energies. He has got so many pastimes. So he has got so many names also, forms also. He has expands in many kind of forms. So in Bhagwan feature, the personalist knows these things. It is inconceivable. This is conceivable. It is all pervading. Yes, all pervading. Both are all pervading. Unchanging, fixed, and immovable. Both are same, but cannot perceive by opulence because of lack of activity. And in meditation, there is no activity. There is total silence. No, all senses withdrawn inside. Whereas in bhakti, all senses are in use for service of Lord. And risk of not realizing absolute truth at the end. Person, a personalist or Mayavadi or Brahmavadi may meditate for years and years together, but ultimately he may not attain the goal. But here success is guaranteed because Lord is also helping the endeavor. And lastly, as I mentioned, that the impersonalist knows only Sat and Chit. That is, he attains knowledge and he attains. He knows that Lord is eternal and living entity is also eternal. He comes to know that. But Bhakta, he knows complete God realization, that is Lord is Sat, Chit and Anand. The picture is given here. He is focusing here. So much of bliss and Anandam is there. So many activities are there. And Lord is there supporting or helping his devotees. Anybody else would like to read now? Priya,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll read.
yeah, please. Thank you, Mataji.
ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषाम् अहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्यु संसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्.
So these are very nice verses and translation, Mataji.
For one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pritha, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
Thank you, Mataji. So the previous verse, Yesham aham sambuddharta mrityu sansar sagrat. This is the assurance of life. Yesham aham sambuddharta mrityu sansar. This ocean of birth and death. Lord, you can see this picture. This person is not a, is a very good swimmer, but this ocean is so vast that he cannot save himself from drowning. So he needs somebody's help who is much more expert and knows how to take out this person who is drowning. So, and that person is Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are like this person who is drowning. Tesham aham samudartha mrityu sansar sagrat bhavami na chiratarth partham maya veshit chetasam. Maya vesh chetasam. My that my aveshit means invest chetasam, that your intelligence. Invest your intelligence into me and I will take care of you. For one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me, giving up all his activity, that all senses, internal and external, are used in the service of Lord, and being devoted to me, that is, he worships devotedly without deviation, Ananya Bhakti, engaged in devotional service and always meditating, always thinking of Krishna, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pratha. For him, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So he has assured this thing. A person, these are some of these eligibilities for our deliverance by Lord. First thing is that worship Lord Krishna, give up all activities or give or perform all activities for Krishna only, be devoted to him without any deviation. That means satat chinta and satat karma for Krishna, So, or Sata Seva, and engaged in devotional service, that means always worshipping Krishna in whatever we do and always meditating upon it. So these are 4 or 5 qualifications, eligibility, if we want to be delivered by Krishna. And this sansar is Mrityu Sagara, because there is repeated birth. It is a sagar of, it is a prison, it is a ocean of miseries, it is a world of material world of full of miseries, because we are always changing. So many things are happening which create us so many kinds of, Lesharni. We'll stop here because I think it is, the time is already 8. Anyway, let us continue for a few minutes more. We'll leave at this section. Now, after describing, you see, after describing, answering the question, which one is better, the worship of the impersonalist or the worship of personalist? Because Krishna, Arjuna was a friend of Krishna, and he was already attached to Krishna in the physical form of worship. So that is a Sakar Bhakti or Saguna Bhakti. So now this has been clarified by Lord Krishna, and comparison has been drawn between personal worship and impersonal form of worship up to this. Now this section 8 to second section, verse 8 to 12, they describe about what is progressive stage of what is the best devotion. What is the second best devotion? If person cannot do the second form of best devotion, what is the third form of best devotion then he can do? That now it is in a reverse order. So far we have seen Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, then Ashtanga Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga. Now Lord is reversing this order and is telling what is the best form of Bhakti Yoga, what is the best form of, if one cannot do Bhakti Yoga in the purest form, then that is Ananya Bhakti, then what is the next form of? So Lord is going to explain all these things in the second section. Yes, Mataji, please read this. Progressive stages of devotion.
Progressive stages of devotion from highest to lowest. 8. Living within Krishna by continuously fixing one's mind and intelligence upon him. 9. Practicing the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga to increase one's desire and ability to remember and obtain Krishna. 10. Surrendering one's work to Krishna. 11. Surrendering to Krishna the results of one's work. 12. Cultivating meditation or knowledge.
Yes, thank you. So these
Hare
are
Krishna.
these points refer to verses 8 to 10. Verse 8 says that the focus your mind and intelligence on me. Mind and intelligence, we know that they are inner senses. So he's talking how to direct your inner senses towards me. Second point, verse number 9, practicing the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga to increase one's desire and ability to remember and obtain Krishna. Now, practicing the regulative principle that involves external senses. So this is the first one, the verse number 8 refers to, in fact, Ismaran kind of bhakti, or Ismaran Atmika Bhakti rather. Then uh, 9 refers to Manan Atmika Bhakti, and 9 the 10 refers to surrendering one's work to, and that is Abhyas Rupa. Surrendering one's work to Krishna. That is, so the best form is always focusing a mind and intelligence on Krishna. Second, if that is not possible, then follow the regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga. We know Bhakti Yoga regulative principles are the 4 regulative principles, plus also chanting, hearing, and association of devotees, listening to Bhagavatam daily, doing deity worship, and also making the places. So these are certain stages which can be done as a regulative principle. And surrendering one's work to Krishna, that is Nishkam Karma, offering the results of all actions to Krishna, that is Nishkam Karma. Then our next is, so first was Ananya Bhakti, second was Sadhana Bhakti, third was, in fact, the surrendering was, that is Nishkam Karma Yoga, surrendering to Krishna the results of one's yoga, and cultivating meditation or knowledge, that is the Jnana Yoga, is the last in the ladder. So highest is, of course, Ananya Bhakti. Yeah, so we can take up this one verse. This is very nice verse, and I will request each one of you to please, Mataji and Prabhuji, to memorize this. Maye man adasta may buddhi niveshaya. Yes, Mataji.
मयि एव मन आतस्त्व मयि बुद्धि निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशय. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
So there is one Abhyas Yoga. Abhyas Yoga has got three limbs. First is Ismara Atmika Abhyas Yoga. Second is Manan Atmika Abhyas Yoga. And third is Abhyas Rupa Atmika Abhyas Yoga. Now this verse relates to Ismarana Atmika. Always fix your own mind me. That means you have to remember me all the times. So as Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage your all intelligence, that is mind and intelligence focused on Krishna only. Thus you will be always in me without any doubt. That means if we focus our mind and intelligence all the time in Krishna, the result will be that we shall always be thinking about Krishna. And when we are always thinking in Krishna, that means we are virtually living in Krishna. So this is the first verse which he is giving. This is Ismaran Atmika Buddhi. So, yes, Mataji.
Devotional service. Perform devotional service by thinking exclusively of Krishna. Pure devotional service topmost. Fix mind upon me. Engage all your intelligence in me, and benefit you. You will live in me always without a doubt.
So this is, if one has constant uh, contemplation on Krishna, constant remembering, and always using his intelligence. Using intelligence and mind is indicative of something also different also. That means whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we act, that all is used for Krishna only. If we are doing so many material activities for our own self, but if we think of Krishna doing those activities, then they become transcendental. Those activities will become transcendental. Say just a very simple example. We'll end with this verse. I will give you, there may be certain situation. This happened with devotees of Srila Prabhupada when he was in America, that uh, sometimes we have to break the regulatory principles. We knowingly or unknowingly say there is no food available, and the food may contain some kind of garlic or onion, which is a prohibited substance so far as we are concerned, because it considered to be an intoxicant, because it develops habit. It is a habit forming item, and it is considered to be tamasic food, or food in passion, mode of passion. So if there is no choice, so there are two things we can do. Either we can fast, we not take food at all, or we may consume it. But if we have to consume in order to survive, then let us offer it to Krishna. It becomes pious, it becomes free from any sinful reaction or the disobedience of regulatory principle. So there are certain situations that in such conditions, if we are always thinking of Krishna, we are living in Krishna, then whatever we are doing is for Krishna only. And if we do, even while we are doing material activities for our own sustenance. So this is where we stop now. So this is very important and very, the nuclear or the central theme of entire Bhagavad Gita, verse 12, chapter number 12. Each verse is studded with diamonds and jewels, and so nice instruction from Lord Krishna himself. And because Arjuna is intelligent devotee, he is asking everything from our point of view. So we end up here with verse number 8. Any questions or doubts, if you can raise or suggest correction or addition or some kind of observation, you are welcome, devotees. Am I able to explain to you the point in the correct perspective, and are you able to grasp it as well, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. You want to say something?
Ji, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Prabhuji, whatever you are explaining to us, definitely you are explaining in very good way. And the grasp power is actually within us or not, that we don't understand. But definitely you are giving, and you have given your lot of time, your hard labor to us. And for such, Prabhuji, Dhanyavad.
Thank you. Thank you for these words. Because let these words go to Srila Prabhupada, whose message I am just communicating as a postman. There is nothing mine. I'm trying to be simple in my explanations, but sometimes the subject is complex and I can't make very simple. Anyway, so nice of you, and thank you very much, Mataji. So we'll continue our journey tomorrow. And this is nectar of, in fact, entire Bhagavad Gita, this chapter number 12. Thank you very much. As attendance link is posted in the chat box, please fill in the your form before you leave. So anybody would, now I had requested that some of you could may say the starting prayer, beginning prayer, and the end prayer also. So please, from tomorrow onwards, or even if now one can say a closing prayer, it will be very.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Mataji.
can I get the starting prayers and the closing prayers? Actually, I do not know, so I don't say. So
No
if
problem,
it can be for
Sure, Mataji. I will post the link. I had posted one Vaishnava prayers link for all these prayers which I sing here, say here. I will post it again just now. So please follow that.
Prabhuji, what I add, since you raised the question, so I also totally agree to Srila Mataji, totally in solidarity with her, that the way you explain with examples, sometimes while reading, I have some questions in mind, and by the time you give the explanations, all the questions are gone. So this is what is happening. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Loving
Mataji.
this.
Thank you. But it is just it is just by chance. It is by design. It is Krishna's design. It's Srila Prabhupada's design that I should speak like that. You know, before coming to class, I prayed Lord Krishna and Srila Prabhupada that please speak through me. I am totally ignorant person. I do not know anything. So he speaks through me. I believe so. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So
Hare Krishna.
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की वृंद की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, भगवत गीता की जय। Thank you very much, Prabhuji and Mataji, for your association. Hare Krishna and Dandavat Pranam to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Mataji.